once I've created the V switches in Hyper-V, I would now need to add the network adapters to the individual nodes. So in this situation, it's going to be node 1 and node 2. That is going to be our cluster nodes. So let me just once again refer to the lab diagram that we have out here. So as stated, our nodes, node 1 and node 2, will have 3 NIC cards. So already they do have one NIC card which says prod, that's production. I need to add the next 2, that's heartbeat, that refers to the heartbeat network, and the SAN storage network. And that's what I'm going to do at this moment. And be sure to repeat this process on both the nodes. At this moment, I'm going to be doing it on node 2, as well as I'm going to repeat it on node 1 later. So make sure you don't forget that. So I'm going to close this window. And here, let me just go back to the screen once again. I will just cancel this out. So you're going to right click on node 2. You're going to click on settings. And once you click on settings, you will see add hardware. So in add hardware, you will see that already there is one network adapter that you would have added before. That's connected to the production virtual switch. So I'm going to click on add hardware and select network adapter, click on add, and from here I'm going to select the heartbeat virtual switch that we have created earlier, and I will click on apply to this. Once again, I need to add the next adapter. I will click on add hardware, select network adapter, click on add, and I'm going to select the SAN switch, the SAN virtual switch that we created. So once I've done that, I'm going to ensure that I configure the IP addresses as defined out here. But if you notice, for the heartbeat network, we are not configuring any IP address, right? But for the SAN storage network, we are configuring the IP addresses in the range of 10.0.0.0 network, right? It's very important that we rename our network adapters based on their functions. So if you notice, the network adapter that's been joined to the domain, that's the one I renamed as prod. Ethernet 2, I'm going to rename this to heartbeat. Similarly, for Ethernet 3, I'm going to rename this to SAN, because that's what it's going to connect to, right? Now, there are specific network configurations that you need to do with reference to failover clusters, and one of them is this, where the heartbeat network, I would need to go into properties and ensure that client for Microsoft Networks and file and printer sharing for Microsoft Networks is unchecked, because that's really not required. We're not going to share any files over that network. It's just going to be used for sending heartbeat traffic. And also the new Microsoft guidance is where you do not need an IPv4 address for the heartbeat network. IPv6 addresses are supported. So Microsoft recommends that you tick mark, you check this, leave a check, that is TCP IPv6, and you can use the automatically generated IP address that's used in IPv6. So do not worry about the uniqueness. That IP address is going to be unique, right? So I'm going to click on this OK to this and close this out. And same for the SAN network. Let me define the IP address for the SAN network, and let me once again refer to our network diagram for the same. So for the SAN network and for node 2, I'm going to use this 10.0.0.20. So that's what I'm going to configure out here. So it's going to be 10.0.0.20. I need not configure a DNS server setting for the SAN network, because it's not going to be probably in the domain, or it's not going to participate on the network. but yes, my node will need to connect to the SAN storage using this IP address. So I'm going to click on OK, but before I click on OK, there are certain small changes that I will need to do. I will need to go into DNS and uncheck this option, register this connections address in DNS, because I do not want this address to be registered on my DNS server. So I'm going to click on OK to this. And that's the same thing for the heartbeat network. It need not be registered on the DNS server. So let me check the setting for the same. I'm going to click on advanced DNS. All right, I'll uncheck this, click on OK, done. The next step is giving priority to the traffic, and for that what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on production, click on properties, and to ensure that which traffic is given attention first. Now if you notice, we've got three different categories of traffic. One is the production network, the heartbeat network, and the storage network. So I'm definitely going to give first priority to the production network traffic, and for that I'm going to select this automatic metric and I'm going to give it 1. So lower the number, higher the preference. So I'm going to click on OK to this. And similarly for the heartbeat network or for the SAN network, so I'm going to ensure that my SAN gets the next priority, and that I'm going to click on advanced over here. Under automatic metric, I'm going to give this 2, and for the heartbeat network it's going to be 3. So this completes the networking configuration for node 2, and the network configuration that I have done is for the production network. You have a specific static IP address, and it also has the DNS server IP address, and I've given it the first priority with reference to network traffic. For the SAN network, we just gave an IP address and a subnet mask. There's no DNS server setting, right? And it's not going to register itself on the DNS server. Priority is 2 for this. For the heartbeat network, with reference to the new Microsoft guidance in Windows Server 2016, I have chosen not to use IPv4. So when I choose not to use IPv4, I do not need to think about the IP address that I'm going to use for it. I'm going to use an IPv6 address, and that's going to be automatically generated for me. So that completes the network configuration, and we will move on to the next step, and the next step would be where I'm going to show you how to connect your node to the SAN storage and how to configure a SAN storage.